Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Out There Hours distant cousin. It's After Hours, everybody.
The Out There Hour on Alternative Future Radio. The Out There Hour with Basil and Mark. www.alternativefutureradio.com.
Yay! Here we are, broadcasting live to the known universe through Ustream.
Good morning, Mark.
Did I peak too soon?
I think you peaked too soon.
Oh, good morning.
How are you today?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Interesting show.
Interesting stuff. We've got some funky topics on the list.
We promised not to talk about sci-fi.
We'll try and hold back.
Today we'll try and control ourselves.
Yeah, I'm looking at my list here, seeing how much of it might be seen as sci-fi. No, there's not a lot of it there. There's a little bit that could be a little bit sci-fi-ish, but not much. Very little.
Apologies. Movies.
Movies, yeah. You nerded out on movies.
But movies based on fact.
Yeah. You going to do more of that? Because we mentioned some of that stuff. Or did we movie coincidences last time, technically?
You say movie coincidences, I say curse of the movies.
Curse of the movies, yes. Clearly a curse, yes.
What's the first topic on your block? Surprise me.
Well, my first topic is a carryover from the last 3 sessions that I keep forgetting to talk about, so I've added it right to the top of the list. It's not particularly funny. It's the reality that most countries' political systems are actually 2 cheeks of the same ass. All the parties are exactly the same. They're all aristocracy.
That's just brilliant. Actually, yeah, we were having a discussion about that. It was kind of interesting. We were talking about Labour and the Conservatives in the United Kingdom.
And it's the same in America with the Republicans and the Democrats, and in Ireland with the Fiannas and Fails and whatever they're called.
Fianna Fails and the Fianna Failures.
Fine Gaelias, yeah.
Fine Gaelias.
Sounds like a flower. Yeah, basically they're exactly the same group of people. They all went to the same schools, sat next to each other at class, shared the same ideals, and there's no really any difference whatsoever.
It's what Alex Jones calls the left-right paradigm.
The left-right paradigm.
And unfortunately, he's right.
He is, unfortunately for me, because I hate being, hate him being right.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Labour for a few years, then you vote in Conservatives, then you vote in Labour again, then you vote in the Conservatives again.
Yeah, you think, oh, well, I'm not having a great experience under Party A, I'll vote for Party B.
Yeah.
But then you go, I'm not having a great experience under Party B, I'll vote for Party A. And it just goes on. People never learn from their own mistakes.
And something I've kind of noticed, say, who's in there? The Tories.
Yes.
And Labour are the opposition.
They are. They oppose.
So they're sort of in as well. So they're all getting paid.
They're all getting paid, and there's probably not much in it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
It doesn't matter if you're in power.
Oh, it gets worse than that. It gets much worse than that. The government put forward, this is in England, I assume other countries are run the same way, the government put forward legislation which is drawn up, thought up, and written by Whitehall, the civil service. And it's the government's job to represent that legislation in Parliament or whatever. And that will be based on realities such as we haven't got any money, so we need to tax somebody. So they say, right, okay, well, we haven't taxed the bicyclists as much, so we'll tax them this time. Then the government say, we've had this fantastic idea, we're going to tax people on bicycles. And it's the government's job, doesn't matter who they are, to represent the Whitehall's policy in Parliament. And it's the opposition's job to oppose it. Doesn't matter what their position is, they will always oppose it. That's their job.
But it's all coming from this...
But it all comes from Whitehall, who aren't elected anyway.
They're civil servants.
Yeah.
They're the administration.
Yeah, who knows who they are? That's the point. Nobody gets to vote for them.
How weird.
Yeah. And I think that is actually a very similar system in a number of countries.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, when you think about it, these politicians, most of them have never had a proper job.
Oh, no.
They went to Eaton or Cambridge or whatever, and they did a political internship, and they may have handed out some leaflets and canvassed at a few doors, but they've never actually had an actual job. And seriously, they're not going to come up with these policies and ideas. They're not going to decide that they need to tax bicyclists to pay off some other problem. They're not smart enough to do that kind of thing. It's not their thing. That's not what they know how to do.
They've got no life experience of any kind.
And Whitehall are professional policymakers. That's what they do for a living. And they, unlike the governments, stay in power all the time.
But I think a lot of people wouldn't know the difference with Whitehall. They don't really know what you mean by that.
It's the civil service. basically.
Is it a building where they all sit and
There is a building called Whitehall in
decide
England,
policy?
Yeah. Yes and yes. Yes and yes.
Yes.
Why ask why? Yeah.
I tell you something, that actually wasn't what you were saying to me. What you were saying was a bit different. We were talking about Tony Blair being a Labour, being a socialist.
He is a socialist, stroke Marxist, stroke communist.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about. We were saying that it was very noticeable that the age of surveillance came in very much with the age of Tony Blair.
With the age of communism.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look and read anything at all to do with socialism, even their own works describe it, they are insidious, they're secretive, they always give themselves another name.
Yeah.
They never go under the name Marxist or socialist or communist. Some countries like France, they have socialist parties, but generally in the slightly more Western worlds, they tend to try and hide it. They'll call themselves the Labour Party or the People's Federation or whatever. Yeah, but it's the same thing.
You judge a party by its actions, not by its words, and the actions were pretty. Well, I don't know if the word's disturbing, but it was to me the surveillance angle.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. And then you've got the Tories. I'm not sure if there's an equivalent for those in other parts of the world because
conservatives,
somewhat more fascist.
Republicans in America, isn't it? That's
yeah. But even the Democrats in America are still more conservative than the Conservatives are in England. They're all right wing in America.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Whereas we've got a more middle ground in Europe.
But the other point you were making, we were just saying, I know it's true about Labour that they are communist.
Of course they are.
Call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing was you were talking about the Conservatives or the Tories, and you were calling them fascists.
I think they probably are. They're certainly closer to that than they are to socialists.
Yeah. I think what we've got here is a system of communism and fascists.
Yeah.
That's what the left and right is.
Yeah, I mean, fascism even stems from Marxism. It's built upon it and changed and tweaked.
You read a book on it recently, didn't you?
Read a few books on such things over the course of things.
You read page one.
Page one, back page. That's how it ended.
How'd you get on with your Trotsky?
Oh, actually, Trotsky's not too hard to read.
Really?
No, he's actually not too bad. He's one of the better writers.
What was it you struggled on then?
Oh, the capitalist stuff.
Oh,
I was reading some of the capitalist stuff, and wow, it's hard to read.
Burn out your brain.
Yeah, it's not even so much that the subject's complicated. They're just crap writers.
They're just nonsense.
They're just rubbish.
Yeah.
So
bad writing, hard to understand, bad English.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah. Anyway, I've got that off my list now, and off my chest. They're all the same. Two cheeks of the same ass.
Yeah, you're right, and I think it's becoming more and more apparent and abhorrent.
Yeah, everybody knows it. And actually, that's the big thing. The government are increasingly perturbed by the presence of the internet because people can spread ideas much quicker than they used to.
Yeah, that's right.
And they can spread ideas like, let's all vote for independence this time.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the way to go.
Yeah. I mean, for example, I know in Ireland they had a Green Party, and it's now basically wiped off the face of the earth.
Good.
Because they did nothing but bad. And they got no candidates, no nothing, and I hope they're all now completely bankrupt.
They were just a bunch of loonies. They just wanted to do carbon taxing.
Tax everything at all times.
Tax everything.
But then offer no alternative.
Make you pay.
Let's tax cars, but not install buses.
Yeah, it was just going to be a revenue generation, as everything seems to be these days.
Yeah, but remember, a lot of the ecological sounding groups are also very socialist. Look at the Venus Project, which is, I think, on my bucket list of conversation pieces.
That sprang from the movie Zeitgeist.
Same organisation.
Yeah.
They are one and the same.
Yeah.
The Zeitgeist movement is the media arm of the Venus Project.
So there's Venus Project first of all.
Yeah. They are the parent, or he is the parent, should I say. What's his name? Jacques...
I don't know. He's an old guy.
Yeah, he is.
Charlie Veitch spoke to him.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, I saw that. Must admit, wasn't overly enamoured with him. Think he's a communist.
I didn't like him.
The Venus Project walks like a communist and sounds like a communist. I think it's a communist.
And it probably is.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Not that keen on it.
Speaking of politics.
Yes.
And vegetation.
And what?
What's a useless vegetable?
Cabbage.
What's a useless vegetable planted in America?
President? I have no idea.
A bush.
Hang on. I said you'd fall for it.
Oh, there was no need for that. It wasn't that bad. You completely thrown me.
You were on about vegetables for some obscure reason.
I don't know about vegetables. I was just making a pun.
Oh, that was your link to your butt joke.
To the bushes.
Oh my God, you actually did a segue and a link to a joke that really should have been buried.
It was multi-layered. It was
Wow.
It just all went above your head.
That was a hell of a link you did.
Oh.
Tenuous too.
I was going to talk about the Bush family. I was going to talk about...
Go on. You've got information on the Bush, as I see.
A member of the Bush family that's not often spoken about, Barbara Bush.
Ah, Barbara Bush.
And this weird...
There's something funny about the word Barbara Bush. It sounds funny.
Because it's two B's, is it? She sounds like...
Barbara Bush.
Clarke Kent.
I'm not sure. Is it something that you want to have sex with? Something you want to eat? I don't know. Barbara Bush. It sounds funny.
I don't think you want to have sex with Barbara Bush.
Sounds like a place, maybe.
Barbara
I'm going to go
Bush.
live in Barbara Bush.
What do you think? You need to get a picture of Barbara Bush and you need to get a picture of Alister Crowley and examine both.
Who's Alister Crowley? People are shouting.
Wow. Anybody who doesn't know Alister Crowley.
I remember Crowley from The Professionals.
Alister Crowley. He was, I don't know, an occultist, a Satanist.
Pattern emerging.
He had a lot of followers.
Yeah.
They called him the Great Beast. He wrote a lot of books.
And what connection did he have to Barbara Bush?
He met her. No,
He met her.
No,
That's it. Some scouts met her.
No, he didn't meet her. No, he's actually meant to be Barbara Bush's father.
Meant to be.
Yeah.
Why would somebody meant to be her father? Is he or is he not her father?
He's allegedly her father.
Who's alleging it?
People on the internet.
Well, in that case, press on. It must be true.
I think Barbara Bush's mother met see, you've got me now. I can't say Barbara Bush with a straight face.
Barbara Bush.
Barbara Bush. We're doing it again. We're just falling into this trap of autism of saying the same word over and over again.
Go on.
I couldn't be bothered now.
No, go on, do it.
I can't be bothered.
Tell me more about Barbara Bush.
It's just really weird. Alister Crowley, this great Satanist, is meant to be Barbara Bush's real father. Yeah. And they look strikingly similar.
Yeah. Well, what is? Are you aware of any evidence to link the two together to show this lineage?
Well, certain people met in certain places.
Right.
I mean, Barbara Bush's mother was over in the UK and she met Alister Crowley and they had it off. I mean, I can read the enormously huge amount of notes here, or I can just tell you.
Yeah, you just tell me. Yeah. And that's what people are saying.
And if you want evidence, go and look it up on the on Google.
Or get a DNA sample.
Have a read of it yourself. Don't put me to the trouble of it. Don't make me read it all out.
Yeah. Sort yourselves out.
Yeah. Do a bit of work yourselves.
Yeah. We're not here for your pleasure.
I can read it if you insist.
Go on then.
Oh man. Okay. Few people understand that one of the most notorious individuals in British history may have contributed to the lineage of our current president. Alister Crowley, a.k.a. the Great Beast, 666. The infamous practitioner of sex magic.
Sex magic? That sounds like something I want to get into. Can you get a starter box?
That's all it was. It was about him saying it was all magic. And all you have to do is have sex with me and you'll be granted great powers.
Yeah, I think Catholicism tried that.
Well, in a different way. In a different way. Whose motto was, and this will suit you, do what thou wilt.
Yeah.
Do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law.
Sounds all right.
So do whatever you want.
Will do.
If you're a Satanist or a Luciferian.
Or just a normal person.
No, I don't know about that. I mean, he said...
I do what I want, and I've done a lot less bad things than lots of religions I could name.
Okay, but maybe what Alister Crowley wanted to do was stab you in the heart, or stab you in the brains and eat your heart.
I've got a question for the Satanist people.
Yeah.
If there is a fully functioning Church of Satan, how come they haven't all killed each other or betrayed each other and therefore collapsed their own church?
I'm pretty sure they've all betrayed each other.
How come the church still be standing then?
Did you say why they haven't eaten each other? Or killed each other?
Killed each other or whatever, or betrayed each other. Because surely the organisation would fall apart if nobody worked together. And if you believe their own doctrine, that's not what they do. So therefore, how can there actually be a church?
I guess there's some kind of unity when it comes to worshipping.
Well, you can't go around. You can't go around doing that. You can't have unity. And what they got? Their friends? Are they going to do barbecues and stuff?
Well, I'll get back to that. But just talk about the killing people. I mean, which is what they do. I mean, this is very, very gruesome stuff. But,
yeah,
they would be killing innocent hitchhikers and stuff like that,
as opposed to those guilty hitchhikers that sometimes you run over by accident.
True.
Yeah.
Innocent hitchhikers and innocent people who were kidnapped and disappeared inexplicably.
Inexplicably, they would be a word.
Yeah.
Key word, in fact.
Okay, I'll put that in.
As in not explained.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Satanism.
Oh, I'm not making up a word now, you understand?
Oh, no,
Inexplicable
it is a real word.
It's not me against the Oxford English Dictionary.
No, you're not going Tourette's on me or anything.
No.
No.
Yeah, so they wouldn't be killing each other, but I mean, they'd be killing, victims.
Just seems a little bit strange that you would be so, differentiate between the two of them. Surely if you're all evil, you're just going to kill everybody.
Yeah, but they're all members of the same church, aren't they?
Oh, well, what, are they friends and buddies or what?
I guess
Can you have friends if you're evil? Can you have evil friends?
I guess you can.
Makes no sense to me.
Well, we'll have to ask them.
Yes, we will.
We'll have to find out.
Yes. We'll get them on the show.
Let's email them.
We'll email them immediately.
Let's get them on.
Right, go on. Carry on with your Leslie Crowther show, or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Leslie Crowther is right. Yeah, Alister Crowley.
Yeah.
He came to know a great many remarkable people.
Yeah.
Including the maternal grandmother of George W. Bush.
Right. George W. Bush or H.W. Bush?
Oh, when we say know, we can take it in the biblical sense of knowing.
Knowing, yes.
Let's just work this out. George W. Bush.
That's the father.
That would be the Bush that's just been the president?
No. He's Herbert Walker Bush.
Well,
George W. Bush is the father. He's the senior. He's George Bush Senior you're talking about.
Do you think so? So this is going back quite a bit.
Yeah.
Maternal grandmother.
Actually, hang on. Barbara Bush is George Bush Senior's wife. And this person met her mother? That would go back quite a while then.
It's the maternal grandmother of George. Her mother.
Of George W. Bush. That would go back to the 18th century or something, surely.
Well, evidence points to the disturbing possibility that he was the true father of Barbara Bush, the former First Lady, a mother to George W. Bush.
Right.
So we're talking about the Bush Senior.
Yeah.
Okay. The story maybe seemed difficult to believe at first.
It does.
Yeah, I should think so.
It's difficult to comprehend, to be honest.
Until you look at the pictures and they look so bloody similar.
Yeah.
Until one learns more about the social interrelations that tied together these unlikely parties.
Uh-huh.
Specifically...
Go on.
we must focus on a fascinating woman called Pauline Pierce, born Pauline Robinson, whose third child was named Barbara.
Right.
Most sources divulge little about this woman. We learn more about her husband Marvin Pierce, the president of the McCall Corporation, which published McCall's magazine and Red Book.
Are you going anywhere with this?
I hope so. I hope so. He married. Just try and keep the names in your head. He married Pauline, a beautiful young socialite, in 1919. Their first child, Martha, was born the next year. The second, James, was born. At this time, Alister Crowley inhabited what must have seemed a very different world as he embarked upon the great communal experiment of the Abbey in Thelema in Italy. This is not going anywhere.
It's going nowhere.
It's just
You're
bizarre.
burying it.
It's just mad.
You're burying your own story.
It's just loads of words. All I wanted to say was that Barbara Bush
maybe
is the daughter of Alister, great Satanist Alister Crowley.
Right.
I didn't want to...
Which means that he's Herbert Walker Bush's granddad. A Satanist.
No, he's Barbara Bush's...
Barbara Bush is George W. Bush.
Oh, and he'd be...
So the mental son would be the son of, or the grandson of, a Satanist.
It does kind of make sense.
Moving on.
That died a death.
Kill it.
That was a bad one. Bury it.
I'm not going to do the bells again for that. You're not even worthy.
No.
Have you got anything else there?
No, I think I'll quit while I'm ahead. What have you got?
I want to talk about Jack the Ripper. Because he's been on my list for ages, Jack.
There's a couple of theories about Jack the Ripper. There's one I know of, and I'm going to beat you to the finish line.
Go on.
I'm going to say that he was meant to be a member of the royal family, and that's what you're going to say.
Was, yes. Some people do.
And
say
then you
that.
laugh at me because of what I just said.
No, I use words like suppose and maybe and could be
Allegedly.
and allegedly, and I just made up that kind of thing. You say was, is, did.
Go on.
I can't remember which member of the royal family it was supposed to be. Was it a prince of some sort? I can't remember who it was. But yeah, some people say that. Some people say...
Hey, that's the same here. I can't remember which one they're talking about exactly because I get all confused with
But there is a theory about that. We should get somebody on. We'll find a Jack the Ripper expert guest.
Well, I know that when we had Anthony J. Hilder on there a few weeks ago, he was mentioning it.
Did he?
Oh, he did, yeah.
Did he mention Jack the Ripper?
He did. He mentioned Jack the Ripper because he was just talking about... well, I guess he was talking about human sacrifice and Satanism amongst the elites.
As you do.
And this river Styx that's underground in London somewhere.
Yeah.
Which I think you'll probably find is true.
I asked a friend of mine about that, and he wasn't sure if he'd heard of that. He's from London, but...
I thought I did. It was familiar to me.
We should have to investigate that.
But it's just... The story is the way that it was so hard to find Jack...
Oh, you know who's always in London?
Who?
Ben the porter. Ben the hospital porter is always in London.
Do you want to send him?
We should ask him to investigate.
Yeah, we can make Ben the porter a sort of a... What do they call it when a
roving reporter?
A roving reporter.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Unpaid, of course.
He's not busy at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Well done, Ben. You're hired.
Yeah. Ben, you got a job.
Yeah. Please go and find out what on earth the River Styx is and what it's all about. Let us know.
But see, what they couldn't understand is how he was able to disappear so easily.
Yeah.
Jack the Ripper. And the only way what they've been thinking is he must have been very wealthy.
Yeah.
Well educated.
Or a quick change artist.
Yeah, one of the two.
How did they know his name was Jack?
Because I think he left letters saying that Jack has struck again and this kind of thing. He started taunting the police.
He's already got his first name. I mean, seriously.
Yeah, it was just a matter
How crap were they? Where's Basil Rathbone when you need him?
Yeah, phone book.
Yeah.
We got Jack, all we need is anybody with the surname The Ripper.
The Ripper. Mr. The Ripper.
We couldn't, Mr. The Ripper. Yeah.
He probably did it.
It's an interesting one. It would probably garner more research.
I'm having a fit.
Are you flying?
No,
wow.
no. I've just read my next line. This is so funny and freaky, and you're going to love this.
Oh, yeah.
It's a complete change of topic, though.
Go on.
I looked on YouTube this week to try and find videos to talk about weird and unusual videos, and I was looking for a voice to use for Guess the Voice.
Yeah.
And I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll get the young boy from Gentle Ben. Do you remember Gentle Ben?
Kind of, yeah.
He had a bear that was his friend.
Oh, I do.
Young kid. Mm-hmm. So I looked for it, and it's not on YouTube in any way, shape, or form. It does not exist on YouTube. Not one single entry.
Yeah, there's nothing that doesn't exist on YouTube.
Everything. You can search for methods of picking corn out of your bloody anus. And there'll be a selection to choose from on YouTube. But if you do it, I'm going to do it now. Watch, I'm going to show you. Where are we? Here's YouTube. I'll bring it up.
I must say I've had a lot of trouble finding. I've had trouble finding stuff on YouTube, but I have found it eventually.
Oh no! I went to pages and pages and pages. Watch.
What are you going to do? You're just going to type in Gentle Ben.
Gentle Ben.
Yeah, I mean that should be enough to get it up.
You'd think so? What? Book. There's a TV commercial. There's a picture of a bear, but that's not it. Look, a band. Supermarket, some guy, some dogs, some more bands, and some graffiti. Nothing. Gentle Ben skateboarding, that's not it. Black and white thing. I've been through pages of it.
I didn't see Gentle Ben at the top of the page there, did I?
Yeah, you did. No, it was it was Gentle Ben, the word, but it wasn't the same program.
Okay.
But there's no Gentle Ben on YouTube. What is that all about? Why doesn't Gentle Ben exist on YouTube?
I only dimly remember it. It was a pretty bad. I didn't like it.
It was one of those screechy American kids that like, Gentle Ben, come and help me. I've got a thing stuck up my,
Did Gentle Ben...
it was a bit like Flipper, but with a bear, basically.
Was he like Lassie? Did he run off and get the ranger to come and help the little boy?
Yeah, what's that you say, Lassie? Boy stuck in a cave. Oh, right, okay, we're on his way. Exactly the same formula as Flipper and Skippy and all the other ones.
Flipper.
Yeah, wow.
Whoa.
That was awful.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, talking about Satanism and and the occult.
Tell me there's a satanic link with Flipper. I'd like there to be one.
Just the fact that it was made, it was just so horrific.
That in itself is satanic.
Yeah, and Skippy was pretty bad as well.
Oh, it was dire. Australian programming generally is pretty dire, though.
Yeah.
They turn out really bad stuff. I mean, America turns out what I would call dross. It's just tripe. English stuff is just dull, usually, on the whole. But the Australians somehow managed to make stuff that is actually not just naff, but annoying.
Yeah.
How do they manage that so consistently?
In case people don't know, I mean, Flipper was basically Lassie, but it was a dolphin.
Yeah. It basically was. And Gentle Ben and Skippy.
And
they were all exactly
Skippy
the same
was Lassie,
plot.
but it was a kangaroo.
Yeah.
I mean, how far can you take this Lassie thing?
Yeah.
It's you know...
Space Cat?
Space Cat, or an armadillo, or a chicken, or something.
That's a real film, Space Cat.
Oh, is it?
It's a Disney film.
Was it a cat, or...?
It was indeed a cat, well done.
Was it animated?
No, it was real life. It was a cat from space.
Oh, and it just used to sit there, and they used to...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put its thoughts on the... Yeah.
They didn't even use string to move its lips or anything.
No.
We're not allowed to do that anymore.
No, just... yeah, it's cruel, apparently. Yeah. So, there's no Gentle Ben on YouTube.
We don't condone that.
I'd like to propose a conspiracy theory that Gentle Ben reveals... key elements of plots to destroy the human race, and thus it has been removed from YouTube by the Illuminati. That's what I'm putting forward.
Well, have a go yourself at finding Gentle Ben and see if you can...
Please send us a YouTube video of Gentle Ben.
AlternativeFutureRadio.com.
Yes, there's links there to contact us through all manner of ways.
Listen, while we're on YouTube, why don't we do the mystery voice?
Oh, mystery voice. Okay.
If that's convenient to do.
What we need actually is a jingle for mystery voice. You know, and now the mystery voice, that kind of thing.
Yeah, just record that bit. That'll be fine.
Yeah, just do that. I'm trying to find it now. Got so many videos. Anybody who is interested in the world's weirdest video collection, do have a look at our YouTube page because we've got possibly the world's weirdest collection. Actually, it's on the website, should I say, under videos. Okay, I'm going to play this, and we're going to give you 20 seconds of it.
Guess the mystery voice.
You've got to guess this. Guess it. Here we go.
Perhaps we need some outside universal threat. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet, I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspirations of our peoples than war and the threat of war?
I'll give you a clue. It's not David Icke.
I think I can guess.
Well, you can because you've just seen the video.
That's right.
If you can't be bothered to guess because you're just too lazy and you can't be bothered to email in, you can go to the website www.alternativefutureradio.com, click on videos, and you'll find it on there, among the others, mingled in.
Question is, what's the answer to last week's mystery voice, or are you not doing that now?
It was the mystery music, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shall we play it again?
We played a little music, and we asked you to guess the artist.
Yeah.
Although not famous, yet again, for his music.
Yeah.
A huge cult figure in the 70s and 80s.
This is him? Just look at that look. It's weird.
Twinkle Fingers.
Old Twinkle Fingers, yes. The answer, of course...
I'll give a clue.
Go on.
It's not Ming the Merciless.
No, it's not Ming the Merciless. He looks just like Ming the Merciless. He's got lots in common with Ming the Merciless, I imagine. Go on.
It's the Anton LaVey, the head of the Church of Satan.
Yes.
At that time.
At that time. Who is in charge now? We do not know. I don't know, anyway. But then I haven't looked either.
I think, I do have an idea.
Oh, you do?
I think I looked it up on the website, and the names are a bit odd. I couldn't quite... They wouldn't... stick in my mind.
Right, fair enough. So you don't know them, basically?
I don't know, but that's the previous head of the Church of Satan. Anton LaVey, he's pretty well known.
Yeah, apparently he was. I'd never seen him before. I thought it was Ming the Merciless when I saw it.
I mean, quite a lot of Hollywood celebrities joined up with the Church of Satan. I suppose one of the biggest stars would be Sammy Davis Jr.
Yes, and there are pictures of him with his little satanic thing around his neck with Anton LaVey, I think, isn't there?
That's right, yeah. And Jane Mansfield, if you remember her, she was a bit like...
aware of her existence?
A little bit like Marilyn Manson.
Marilyn Manson, yeah.
I've gone mad. Marilyn Monroe.
Yes.
But, that particular lady, Jane Mansfield, she died tragically. She was decapitated in a car accident.
Nasty.
While being a member of the Church of Satan.
Wow.
And her daughter now
is... So maybe they do kill each other.
Maybe they do. Her daughter is an actress, and she's actually in CSI New York or whatever.
Right.
One of those ones. You know more about
Very
them,
much alive, then?
Yeah, the daughter is. She's
I know nothing
she's an
about
actress
CSI.
now. She's one of the main actresses in it's either CSI or one of those...
Types of things?
Yeah, she has a pretty foreign-sounding name, so it's hard to remember.
What else have you got on your list? Have you got a list?
I do.
Did you do any kind of
was there any point in bringing it in?
Go on.
I wanted to talk about movies based on fact.
Yes. Oh, you've got a few of those there, haven't you?
And something came up recently in the press. I'll tell you about in a minute. But this one, Boys Don't Cry.
Is that the name of the film?
That's the name of the film.
Never heard of it.
Have you never seen it?
No.
Oh, it's pretty good.
How old is it?
Ooh. It's quite a few years. It's probably well over 10 years old by this point.
Oh, it's not mega old then.
It's not mega old by any means. It's starring Hilary Swank.
Oh, right.
Hilary Swank, interesting name.
Yes.
Nice name. Lovely lady. Good looking.
Nah.
Kind of.
It's all right, I suppose.
Well, in this, she's not so good looking because she plays... what it is about this woman or girl who pretended to be a boy to have relationships with girls.
Right.
Is that making any sense to you?
I suppose so, yeah. Closet lesbian.
Yeah, she was a closet lesbian, so
lesbian
she dressed up like a boy and pretended to be a boy.
Yeah.
And she had numerous relationships with numerous girls.
Okay, and this is based on real life, is it?
Yeah, it's based on real life. It's based on a real person.
It's not really, in fairness, that much of an unbelievable story, to be honest. It's easily achievable.
Well, how?
Well, any girl could dress up like a boy and do the same thing.
Funny you should say that.
It's not like they faked a moon landing or anything. It's a fairly down-to-earth story. I thought you got more pizzazz and more, unbelievableness in these things.
Well, I don't want to get into the nitty-gritty, and I don't want to get vulgar, but I'm just wondering what happened when maybe you were getting to the third or fourth date.
Yeah.
And you were getting intimate.
Yeah.
How did that work out?
Well, yeah, it probably didn't, one would guess. Or they turned them to the dark side of the force or something. I've no idea.
I remember the scene in the film anyway. She pretended that she pretended while she was being him, and they were getting all hot and bothered.
Yes.
That he was embarrassed to take his clothes off.
Ah, yes.
So what he was using was, why does this always happen to me? He was using, what shall I say? What's the word? Something as an alternative.
A manual method.
Yeah,
no. What?
Oh, man, I don't know.
What was he doing? I'm trying to picture it now. Are you listening, children?
A device.
A device, oh, right.
To pretend he had male genitalia.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Basically, she more or less had a dildo in her pocket sort of thing, and she was pretending that was... Does that make any sense to you?
It makes sense, I just wish it didn't.
Yeah.
Go on.
I don't want to go any further.
Move on to the next one then.
All right.
That sounded a bit lame. That's easy done, that.
It's not lame, it's a big film.
Yeah, anybody could do that.
Well, the funny thing is, you're right, anybody could do it, because I read about it recently in the Mirror.
Oh, right, well, must be true.
Not in the Mirror I look in the morning.
No.
But the Daily Mirror, popular newspaper of the United Kingdom.
Popular, you say?
Yeah, well, when I say popular.
Yeah. Have you got any more movies that were based on real life?
Well, there's loads of them. There's Donnie Brasco, there's Goodfellas.
What's the rough storyline for Donnie Brasco? Because I watched it for about 10 minutes and turned it off.
I read the book and I saw the film a couple of times because Al Pacino's in it and I like Al Pacino.
Yeah, and I can't stand him. That's when I turned it off.
Oh, you rushed me ahead. I just wanted to say that recently in the Mirror, a young lady got time for pretending to be a man or a boy and having relationships with teenage girls.
Where were they? In Saudi Arabia or somewhere?
No, in Britain.
How can you do that?
Well, you just said it was easy to do, so...
No, but I mean, how can you lock somebody up for that? They've not committed a crime. I don't think gender impersonation is a crime.
Do you know what? This is where it gets somewhat creepy, because basically the girls were a bit underage.
Ah.
And yet this was a girl preying on them.
girl on girl.
Girl on girl.
Is that still illegal?
But it was a girl pretending to be a man.
Yeah. So pretending
to be a boy.
That's weird. How are you going to lock somebody up for that? For pretending to be... I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, well,
I mean, for example...
Oh, yeah,
right,
because the girls were underage.
Yeah, but I mean, that's crazy. I mean, what happens if you have a 15-year-old girl and a 15-year-old boy, but the boy dresses up in old man makeup? Would he then get charged with paedophilia because he looked like an old man?
No.
It's ridiculous.
I guess it was because the girl who was pretending to be a boy was quite a bit older.
Oh, she was older. They weren't both underage then?
No, they weren't both underage. She was older.
Well, fair enough.
And she was, fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough.
So it was basically...
I thought they were both
underage. Basically, whatever you would call it, child abuse or child endangerment.
Yeah.
Or...
No, I thought they locked one of them because they looked older.
Yeah, Donnie Brasco was about the FBI agent called Joseph D. Pistone.
Yeah.
And he infiltrated the mafia.
Yes.
And he was doing it for about 10 years. I mean, he had to gain confidence. He got involved in all of them and with them. And he almost became a made man, which is a very, very hard thing to do.
Ah.
But at the end of about 10 years, he shot the lot of them.
Right.
But he was like a mafia guy.
Yeah,
he lived the life of a mafia man. He never saw his wife.
And that's what the film's based on, is it?
That's what the film's based on.
I thought that film was all weird and psychedelic and had weird
not at all, no.
Or is that Donnie Darko?
That's Donnie Darko. This is Donnie Brasco.
I get them mixed up.
You do, don't you? Oh, no. Watch this one. This is pretty good. I know Al Pacino's in it and you can't stand him.
I can't stand him. He's hopeless.
Al Pacino's character was Lefty Rodrigo or something like that.
Yes.
That was pretty good.
Yeah.
He was a sort of a small-time mafia guy.
Are there any more?
Any more...
films? Not details. Christ, no.
Well, there is another film, and I don't know if we should talk about it today. I don't know if we've got time.
We could probably squeeze it in if you don't go on about it.
I'll try not to go on about it too much. So we're talking about films based on true stories. I don't know if you ever... A film that frightened the life. I couldn't sleep for about 3 or 4 days. The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Ah, I thought you were going to say Land Before Time too. That kept me awake for a week.
Was that a comedy?
It's a Disney cartoon. Go on.
Oh, that was bad.
I'm being funny.
Do you remember the old ones with Doug McLeod? The Land That Time Forgot.
Oh, yeah. God, they were terrible.
He was in nearly all of them. They're all made in the 60s.
Yeah, with the big plastic dinosaurs.
They always showed them on BBC around at the afternoons on holiday time from school.
They were bad. Go on. The film? The Exorcist, you said?
No, The Exorcism of Emily Rose.
Right.
I suppose most people have seen it. It's a bit hard talking to you about it because you haven't seen it.
Is there a film called The Exorcism?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I thought The Exorcist was based on that when I saw your paperwork.
No. That's what the film was called, and they based it in America. But actually, the true story is this girl was she was in Germany.
Yeah.
And she was called Anneliese Michaels. I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, we've got a recording of it.
It's pretty.
Haven't we? Is that the one we've got on the website?
Yeah, it is. We've got an actual recording of the exorcism of the real girl, Anneliese Michaels.
Well, I'll go to about halfway and I'll play a few seconds of that when it loads.
It's pretty disturbing, so hold on to your hats for this one.
Is there any swearing in it?
No.
Oh, that's a very nice possessed person that doesn't swear. PG-13 possession.
You're not going to get me joking about this.
This video, if you want to see it, alternativefutureradio.com / go and click on where it says videos, basically. Here we are. Let's just press play there. Here we are. Have a little listen to this. Oh, it's still loading. Hang on. Here we go. I want a bowl of golden grams. What's that then?
That's the young lady.
What language is she
being
speaking
exercised.
there?
Nobody knows what language she's. Well, I guess she's speaking German.
Yeah, it sounds German.
Sounds like there's two voices.
Yeah,
there.
There's a man there talking about something or other.
No. There sounds like there's two voices coming out of the girl.
If that's what you want to hear, that's what there is.
That's what I heard, and I think you'll find that that's what really... Well, that was entertaining. Thanks, Mark. Wow. That was funny. Not. Have you got anything on your block? I was going to treat it with a bit more dignity than that. I've just thrown my notes away now. I've given up. We're meant to be talking about exorcism.
Yes,
demonic possession and mental illness, and basically what they're saying is they think, you know, what what experts say is...
Everybody says.
Look, she wasn't possessed. She was anorexic. She was mentally ill.
Yep.
She was epileptic. She was schizophrenic, you name it.
Anything ending with ick, basically.
Anything ending with ick.
Yep.
But to me, listening to that sound clip, I don't think so.
No?
No. I think...
My money's on epileptic schizophrenic.
Yeah, that's because that's the side of the fence you want to be on. You want to...
Walks like a duck. Sounds like a duck.
But to me, that walks like a duck and sounds like a duck of demonic possession.
Yeah, well, it would do, wouldn't it? Because you've got the delusions going on, haven't you? You've got the brain delusions.
Should we break for some music
we will.
That happiness?
We've got some music to play. My great friend, Rick Clarke, emailed me 3 of his tracks.
Great.
And I've selected one from it. Oh. And, well, they're actually not too bad.
Wow.
And I'll tell you an interesting fact about Rick when we come back.
Oh, great. Okay.
After said music.
After the music.
Yeah. Oh, if you want his music, by the way, it's on musicforyourvids.co.uk, number 4. Thought I'd mention it. This is Letter from Dublin. Nah.
There's nothing much to do on Dagobah, so I mostly listen to Basil and Mark on their Out There Hour show on Alternative Future Radio.
Yay.
Yay.
Well, I have my interesting fact about my friend Rick and his song, which was called A Letter from Dublin by Mr. Rick Clarke. Music number 4, yourvids.co.uk is his website. My interesting fact about Rick, don't know if he minds me telling this or not, but I'm going with it anyway, is he can't play a note of instrument. He can't play a note of music.
Mm.
He can't play an instrument. But yet he's making music.
It just goes to show.
What's that all about then?
It's like you don't need to be able to paint anymore.
Really?
Yeah, because there's programs on the computer and you can make pictures out of it.
Yes.
You don't actually need to know how to paint.
That's handy because I'm rubbish at painting.
But not that I wasn't listening to the lovely music.
No.
But, was an instrumental then, or?
It was indeed, yeah. There was there was a sort of there's a semi-vocal element to it, like some sort of choir-y type stuff. But yeah, I've got a couple of songs from him that I can play over the next.
Well, I found my days in recording studios, I would be recorded playing just playing the guitar part of the verse,
and then layer it.
And then layer it. And then it was repeated. So I didn't play the song all the way through ever when I was recording.
No, that's what this little gadget's for.
Do you know?
We're looking at.
It's quite interesting.
Ah, yes. Very much so.
A little bit of secrets of the recording studio for you.
Secrets.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Don't give away our secrets.
Listeners at home. Have you anything else, Mark?
I've got so much stuff it's probably going to carry over to next time. I must do On This Day.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a couple of good ones here. Okay, on this day, Births I'll do first of all. Alexander II, last Tsar of Russia, if memory serves correctly. Duke Ellington, jazz impresario.
Jazz great.
Yes. Emperor Hirohito of Japan.
He was surrendering.
He's a bit of a surrender monkey, yeah.
He was surrendering because he didn't want to be bombed. I read a book about it.
Yeah.
And
There's a good reason to surrender.
Oh, yeah, but they bombed him anyway. That's America for you. No, that's a true story.
I know it is.
Yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Oh, God. He's kind of good. I kind of liked... I like Seinfeld. It's pretty funny.
That.
I like George. George was funny. A little bald guy with the glasses.
I avoided it.
Okay.
Deaths. Hitchcock.
Okay.
Hitchcock died today.
Alfred
Hitchcock,
He had to die sometime.
He did, yeah. That's the only interesting death. The others were all, not so interesting.
Who the hell
Unless you were that person, of course, in which case you're highly interested in your own death.
You'd like to know.
Yeah. Events. Now, I've got some good ones here. I've put the dates next to these because I'm feeling particularly giddy. 1429, the Maid of Lyon, Joan of Arc, entered Orleans. The besieged city of Orleans, one would presume.
Oh, how interesting.
Yes. Of course, she was a mentalist as well. She had paranoid delusional schizophrenia and thought that God was talking to her.
Well, according to you. I mean, I think we got over that speed hump with Annalise. Was it Annalise Michaels or Michaels Annalise?
Yeah.
Exorcism. That was pretty spooky, and you laughed.
Yeah.
I still haven't recovered. I'm not the better of that.
I just point at people and laugh. That's what I do.
That was meant to be a serious subject we were talking about, and you ruined it.
Yeah. You know, like the fat kid, the bully on The Simpsons, who just points and goes, ha ha.
That's you.
That's me.
Yeah.
1945, the Americans, I believe it was, liberated Dachau.
They sure did.
Which is nice if you're in Dachau.
And I think that's the camp I speak about sometimes, where the 12 miles from it, the German civilians didn't believe there was a death camp there, and they had to be marched to it.
Interesting.
And the Americans said, look what you did.
Is Dachau the one near Munich?
Could be.
I think I've been there. Anyway, 1945, Hitler marries Eva Braun, or whatever her name was.
What, a few days before?
The day before he died, in fact.
But the problem is, it wasn't the day before he died, my old friend.
Oh!
My old chestnut. He died, he died in Argentina in 1965.
Don't go back to Gerard Williams and his interesting bomb. Now, okay, 1992, and I like this one. Well, I don't particularly like it, but I like talking about it. 1992, 4 white policemen were acquitted of killing Rodney King in L.A., and the very same nights the riots started in LA.
That's right.
The LA police, of course, famously racist, savage bunch of bounders.
Yeah.
Bounders.
It's a clean show.
Yeah.
Elena.
Yeah. So, that's the end of events on this day.
Excellent.
Go on, pick something from your paper. Go on.
Let's see, what have I got?
Yeah.
Well, isn't this marvellous?
I hope everybody's noticed the level of professionalism that we've now brought to the show. We've got paper with stuff written on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got the top 5 sci-fi babes.
I thought I'd join in with this time since you told me about it in advance.
In a bag across the room.
Aha. So you're going to go and rustle and shuffle in your bag?
Why don't you just turn down the...
yes,
I'll go and rustle a bit.
What an amateur. Okay, let's do a bit of a jingle. My name's Gump, Forrest Gump, and I like to listen to the Out There Hour on Alternative Future Radio with Basil and Mark. I'm sorry for fighting at your Black Panther party. Yeah, so you bloody should be. Okay, so Basil's now finished his shuffling, noisy, banging around all over the place stuff that he likes to do.
And I'm back.
Finally. Okay, top 5 sci-fi babes.
Yeah, well, sci-fi fantasy babes.
Fantasy babes, okay. Well, I was a little bit more strict with my definition of sci-fi. Mine are actually sci-fi babes.
Yeah, mine are not really.
You broadened the spectrum somewhat, did you?
Well, I broadened it sci-fi fantasy.
Lame. Go on. Number 5.
Number 5. Well, I don't like to put them in any particular order.
Oh, no, you must. It's top 5. That's the whole point.
Oh. Well, my number 5 is probably something you won't be aware of. You won't know who I'm talking about.
Go on.
Because it's a very obscure film.
Right.
It's Space Girl.
Yes.
from a film called Life Force, which was a British-made science fiction film in the late 80s. It's about, I can see that you've just
It's just completely zoned out.
Yeah?
What are you on about? Space Girl.
Frank Finlay was in it.
Really? Wow, Frank.
And
yeah.
it was about a group of, I think it was 3 space vampires found on a... found on a...
Go on. Do tell us more.
As I say, it was a British-made science fiction film, so you have to make allowances. But Space Girl, yeah, 3 space vampires who were found on a ship, floating around Earth, and
Yes.
they flew up there. It's a long time ago, but
Yeah.
I think the reason I remember the film so well because for the entire movie, Space Girl was completely nude.
Well, that puts a little bit of a cherry on it, certainly.
So she's my number 5. She was gorgeous.
that's number 5?
And completely naked.
Wow, number 1's not Carmen Electra or something, is it? Or,
No.
Okay.
So go with yours.
My number 5. Now, I only thought these up because you said you were doing it. I actually couldn't name any of them. I had to Google them all.
Okay.
So
you Googled somebody else's top 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I must say, the one at number 1, I think, is probably the one I would choose. The others, not really that fussed with.
Well, we're going in order of 5 to 1.
I know. I'm with it. I'm up to speed. Number 5, Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher.
Oh yeah.
She was all right,
Oh yeah. Oh definitely.
but she's only number 5.
More than all right.
She's not bad. Princess Leia was all right.
she
She kissed her brother, but other than that,
She did.
you know,
She almost made my
she
list.
didn't breed with him.
She almost made my list. But
Almost.
It's just there was ones that were a bit better.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I did like her.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Yeah,
Very
she's
good
all right,
choice.
not
Yeah.
bad,
Well
not bad.
done.
Go on, number 4.
Diana from V.
Oh, bugger!
Evil Diana.
Oh, I would have had her on my list.
Bad Diana.
She would have been probably number 3 or 4 on mine. I
Naughty
forgot
Diana.
about Naughty Diana.
And I'll try and explain. V was the television series in the late 80s about a group
Reptilian
of
aliens.
reptilian aliens taking over the planet Earth.
Yeah.
David Icke.
David Icke.
Not saying you nicked the idea, but
Not too,
it's a bit close.
probably around about the same time.
Taking over the Earth by subversion.
No, it's not more subversion, more overversion, really.
Well, pretending to be human for a
At
start,
first,
but they
yeah,
weren't
yeah.
really. And
No,
I think one
no.
of the shocking scenes in that is when they had all the human beings hung up in meat racks
Yes.
to eat later.
Which X-Files later robbed for their
hey,
film.
but that woman, Diana.
Yeah, she was all right.
the
I
head
liked
lizard.
her.
I didn't like her-
Although, I quite liked the blonde woman who shot herself to let him escape.
Good point.
Who actually stripped into her knickers. Not bad for a lizard woman.
I must have missed that.
She stripped down to her knickers to give her uniform to, what was it, Mark Singer?
Yeah, it was. Beastmaster.
Yeah, obviously. Then she basically sort of gave him her uniform, which is quite strange because she's like a size 6.
You remember that.
And he's quite a large man.
Yeah, well, he's a big muscular guy. So.
Beastmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on from that.
Okay.
So yeah, some Diana
so
from
that's
V.
your
So
number 4, is
you
it?
go. Yeah, that's my number 4.
Savek.
Oh, Savik could be. Oh, she's from Star Trek 1 or 2 or 3 or 4.
2.
2.
Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan, Kirstie Alley.
Curly hair. Oh, yes.
Kirstie Alley.
Oh, wow.
I was tempted with Kim Cattrall, who was also on
She was.
Star Trek
You're right.
3.
One of them. I think the last
4.
one, The Voyage Home or something
I think,
like that.
yeah, she was on Voyage Home.
Yeah.
Correct, yeah, number 4.
Good choice, Mark. Good
Savek.
choice.
I thought I'd go a little
Excellent.
bit exotic there.
And I like Kirstie.
A Vulcan.
But
I like a woman with pointy ears.
She's not. Well, I like a woman with pointy ears, but she's
doesn't?
literally as big as a barn now, Kirstie Allen.
She has grown a little bit.
Which
Not
do-
in popularity.
doesn't bother me. I like a big girl.
You like a big girl with pointy ears, though?
Yeah, sure.
Wouldn't you find it distracting?
No,
No? I mean, are you going to look at her ears, or...?
I probably wouldn't be looking at her ears very much.
Ah, right. Go on, then. What's
My
your number
turn.
3?
I've already mentioned it because we were talking about Buck Rogers. So Wilma Deering,
I did look her up, and
Well,
yes, she looks okay
very
for a
much so.
70s woman.
very much okay.
Yeah.
Don't start about 70s woman.
Well, you just know what's underneath, don't you?
Oh yeah. Have you ever seen the musical Hair?
I may have.
Okay. I'm not going to say any more about it.
Moving on.
Yeah.
My number 3, and you won't have got this one. This is gonna do you in. Number 3, Lisa.
Ah.
Do you know what from?
No.
Weird Science.
Yes.
Kelly LeBrock.
I do.
At the height of her beauty.
That's the woman that was created by the nerds with the computer.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it can't be done.
No, we tried.
We've tried. If it could be, we would have done it.
If there was some way you could create
I really
a woman...
like that film.
Yeah, it was good.
It's a good film.
And Kelly LeBrock.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Wow.
Yeah. Go on, what's your next one? Are you up to number 2 now, are you?
Somewhat embarrassing, I guess, now. Looking at it, and I feel a bit embarrassed.
Please don't tell me it's Wonder Woman or Supergirl.
No,
Although she was all right. I like Supergirl.
Not at all.
Go on.
At all. Bionic Woman.
I didn't even know that existed until last week.
The Bionic Woman. Lindsay
never
Wagner.
Heard of it.
In the 70s.
Any relation to...
Robert Wagner.
Robert Wagner?
No.
Oh.
She was
I'm less interested.
Lovely blonde hair and big long legs. Bionic legs, mind you.
Bionic legs, obviously. She'd do all right in the Special Olympics.
She's my number 2.
With bionic legs.
She's my number 2, Bionic Woman.
Now, I'm going to struggle to pronounce number 2 on mine. Mila Jovovich.
Yeah, I know who she is. She's a more modern...
She is.
One.
Quite modern.
She's from a film that was adapted from a graphic novel.
She was in The Fifth Element.
I think it was.
She played The Fifth Element, in fact, not to give the film away too much.
Yeah, that makes me... I should have put somebody else on.
Oh,
never mind. That was good.
Yeah, I was smoking that
Well, actually, as we're never doing this again, I would have thought that the girl from Species, too, was...
I contemplated her.
Yeah.
But
Good
no,
choice.
I went with her because, I mean, she had a strappy dress on. She'd got the ginner. She'd got a ginner on, which was all right.
Good choice, whoever made up that top 5, because it wasn't Mark.
Yeah, that was me. I particularly liked Fifth Element because all of the costumes were designed by Jean-Paul Gaultier. There's a bit of trivia for you.
How odd.
Yeah.
And mine. My costumes are designed by Salvador Dali.
Really?
Shall I go on to...
Please do, he's dead. Carry on.
As long as it's nothing embarrassing, you said. My number 1.
Yes.
You did just mention this. There was nothing embarrassing like Wonder Woman.
Yes.
It's Wonder Woman.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Oh, God.
It is number 1, Wonder Woman.
How old is she now? Is she still alive?
She still looks bloody good now. She's probably near 60 and she still looks great. Your number 1.
7 of 9.
Yeah.
Hands down. 7 of 9 from Star Trek Voyager.
Well, I'd have trouble if both of them wanted to go on a date with me. Wonder Woman and 7 of 9. Well, I prefer blondes. I'd probably 7 of 9.
7 of 9?
Yeah, would probably win out.
She's as fit as Butcher's dog.
She is.
She wears Lycra all-in-one bodysuits.
It's gorgeous.
And what do you want? She's half cyborg, for Christ's sake. What could she do with that? Where's that going to end?
I did have a special mention, some runners-up.
A special mention. Yeah, you had some special mentions for people who didn't quite make it to the top 5.
This is... exactly. I put in...
So if you're listening out there, people for the following list, you're not very good.
Uhura from Star Trek.
I almost put her on because I quite liked Uhura.
Nice. Very nice.
I almost put her on because she was the first black woman on Sci-Fi.
She was the first black woman to kiss a white man on television.
Yes, that's true. And she was the first black woman on Sci-Fi, period.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And, so you're...
So, yeah, she gets an honourable mention.
It would be unfair not to mention her.
Yeah, she was probably a bit old for me.
And getting back to Star Trek...
And she sings as well, do you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she's done albums and all sorts of stuff.
Well, so is Shatner.
No, but she's good.
Oh, yeah. And so is Leonard Nimoy.
Leonard Nimoy, wow. Yeah. I wish we could play Bilbo the Hobbit.
Yeah.
Please Google that.
I thought, again, in the Star Trek theme, I should mention might sound a bit odd, actually, but the Borg Queen I thought was quite good looking.
She's all right.
In a Borg way.
Yeah.
She was pretty... I saw her...
She looks a bit like Glenn Close.
Oh, no, she's better...
No, Meryl Streep. She looks a bit like Meryl Streep.
Well, I was just watching the scene where she seduced...
Data.
Data.
I saw that the other day on telly.
Something about it stirred something deep within me.
You're a cyborg implant.
And another mention, I just thought... I'm not saying I cheated and looked up other people's top 5s, but I did.
Oh, loser.
Can you believe it for Sci-Fi Babes what somebody wrote down?
Go on.
Marina from Stingray. She's a puppet.
Yeah, very much so. She's a wooden puppet.
He fancied a puppet.
What's wrong with that?
That's weird.
He's probably got one by now. One of those German realistic ones.
That's it. That's the end of the top 5 Sci-Fi Babes.
Yay! Right, I've got 5 things I want to list in reverse order.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Yeah.
It's 5 things. Now, I did borrow this, and I don't really know if I agree with all of them, but I did borrow this from, I think it was crack.com. 5 things people pretend to like but really don't really like.
Yeah, I can't. This is a surprise for me, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, don't go all autistic on me and start lining up your toy soldiers or anything.
No.
Number 5, parades.
Oh, yeah.
People
I hate
keep
'em.
turning up for parades, but they're rubbish.
But
I agree with that.
They go for the sake of the kids, is what I'm told.
Maybe, yeah.
And everybody hates it. The children,
They're
the
rubbish.
adults.
Nobody. Who that likes parades?
Hey, that's a good one.
Unless you're in the parade. I was once in the Notting Hill Carnival.
Well, what were you dressed as?
I was an interloper.
Transvestite? Sorry.
No, I actually was in Notting Hill, and I went there to look at said carnival, and I basically got my way underneath the barrier, walked all the way around, and stood right next to whoever it was at the time. I think it might have been Seb Coe or somebody who cut the ribbon to launch it, and I was next to him. If anybody can get all the TV footage, I think it'd be like 2000 and... year 2000, I think it might have
Really?
been. I was actually at the front.
That's amazing.
Wasn't invited at all.
No, but
No,
you got in there.
I just
done.
Badged in.
Excellent.
Number 4, movies shown in parks. People think that's a good idea. You know, they do it in England a lot. They have sort of films in the park. Channel 4 does it, and they get a big screen up, and people sit and stare at films in parks.
I kind of think I'd be going to a park to get away from the TV.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, how lame's that?
that is very
It's
lame.
lame.
Yeah, it's
But
bad.
people go, and then they probably don't go back.
No.
Number 3, and I'm not sure about this one, but I kind of agree, jet skis. Now, I've never had a jet ski.
No.
But I've seen people on jet skis, and they go, look at this, I've got a jet ski, look at this, I've got a jet ski.
Is this the thing on the water?
Yeah, like a Sea-Doo type thing.
Do you know what I think that is? I think people like...
Penis extension.
They like... Yeah, exactly. They
yeah.
like being seen on it.
Yeah.
And, they don't like the picture, but they don't like being on it because they know they can fall off and drown
die.
really easily.
Break their neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like going on a motorbike on water
Yeah.
without a seatbelt or anything soft to it.
Yeah.
It's just...
And the damn things turn over so easily.
But what's more, I see people with them down by the beaches, and they basically go out, go round a bit, bob up and down, and then do a bit of a jump.
Yeah.
And then they go, well, that's it.
Yeah.
And then they go back in.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I go, that costs you about $8,000 second hand.
That's right.
And you've got like 3 minutes on it, and
it's not,
and now you've got to clean the bugger out because it's full of salt water.
It's not enjoyable.
What's that all about? Rubbish.
It's crazy.
Number 2, working outdoors.
Yeah.
Who thinks that working outdoors is good? Working indoors where it's warm, centrally heated, and there are, coffee machines, far superior to chopping wood.
Working outdoors is okay some of the time, as long as it's warm and sunny.
Yeah, for 2 weeks in July.
The majority of the time, it's cold, it's wet, it's unpleasant.
Filthy.
Yeah.
Grubby. Number 1, I'm not sure about this because I think they're okay, but they are always a bit of a letdown. Fireworks.
Boring.
What's that all
So
about?
boring. I hate them.
They're all right.
They're boring.
I don't think I'd drive somewhere to see them, though.
I can't stand them. But this is things that people pretend
to like, because they all turn up for them, but nobody really likes them.
I don't even pretend to like them. I hate them.
Well, you're just a freak, ain't you?
I know, yeah.
So, yeah, that was it.
that
Fireworks
number
was
one?
my number
That's
1.
a good list. Well
yeah,
done.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Well done, excellent.
Yay. So, yeah, go on.
Well, go on, you say.
Yeah, you've got like 1 minute.
Oh, great. Let's
Yeah,
say
just-
goodbye to everybody then.
Yeah,
'cause I haven't got anything else.
Oh, no, hang on. What we've got here? I wanted to talk about near-Earth objects. That's a big subject. I'll carry that over to next time. I have to declare one thing, and then we're done. I've got one thing to declare, and that is that I hate the grumbleweeds.
I think they're okay. That's madness.
Oh,
what
no,
are you on about?
you've got to hate the
They were
grumbleweeds.
funny. No.
They were awful.
They weren't awful.
They were just, savages they were.
It was funny.
We,
They
the
did great.
grumbleweeds.
They were better at impressions than you. That's why you didn't like them.
Oh, no, they're
Far better.
impressions.
Frank
I didn't
Spe-
even know they did impressions.
Loads of them and told jokes.
I couldn't even tell that they were doing impressions.
Oh, they were great.
They just looked like a bunch of escapees.
I don't understand you.
That is it.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Goodbye. Please carry on hating the grumbleweeds. We thank you.
The Out There Hour on Alternative Future Radio. The Out There Hour with Basil and Mark.
www.alternativefutureradio.com. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Out There Hour's distant cousin. It's after hours, everybody.
The Out There Hour on Alternative Future Radio. The Out There Hour with Basil and Mark.
www.alternativefutureradio.com. Yay! Here we are, broadcasting live to the known universe through Ustream.
Good morning, Mark.
Did I peak too soon?
I think you peaked too soon.
Oh, good morning.
How are you today?
Not too bad, not too bad.
Interesting show.
Interesting stuff. We've got some funky topics on the list.
We promised not to talk about sci-fi.
We'll try and hold back.
Today we'll try and control ourselves.
Yeah, I'm looking at my list here, seeing how much of it might be seen as sci-fi. No, there's not a lot of it there. There's a little bit that could be a little bit sci-fi-ish, but not much. Very little.
Apologies. Movies.
Movies, yeah. You nerded out on movies.
But movies based on fact.
Yeah. You going to do more of that? Because we mentioned some of that stuff. Or did we movie coincidences last time, technically?
You say movie coincidences, I say curse of the movies.
Curse of the movies. Yes and yes.
Yes.
Why ask why? Yeah.
I tell you something, that actually wasn't what you were saying to me. What you were saying was a bit different. We were talking about Tony Blair being a Labour, being a socialist.
He is a socialist, stroke Marxist, stroke communist.
Yeah, well, that's what we were talking about. We were saying that it was very noticeable that the age of surveillance came in very much with the age of Tony Blair.
With the age of communism.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look and read anything at all to do with socialism, even their own works describe it, they are insidious. They're secretive. They always give themselves another name.
Yeah.
They never go under the name Marxist or socialist or communist. Some countries like France, they have socialist parties, but generally in the slightly more Western worlds, they tend to try and hide it. They'll call themselves the Labour Party or the People's Federation or whatever. Yeah, but it's the same thing.
You judge a party by its actions, not by its words, and the actions were pretty. Well, I don't know if the word's disturbing, but it was to me. The surveillance angle.
Yeah, completely. Yeah. And then you've got the Tories. I'm not sure what position is. They will always oppose it. That's their job.
But it's all coming from this...
But it all comes from Whitehall, who aren't elected anyway.
They're civil servants.
Yeah.
They're the administration.
Yeah, who knows who they are? That's the point. Nobody gets to vote for them.
How weird.
Yeah. And I think that is actually a very similar system in a number of countries.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, when you think about it, these politicians, most of them have never had a proper job.
Oh, no.
They went to Eaton or Cambridge or whatever, and they did a political internship, and they may have handed out some leaflets and canvassed at a few doors, but they've never actually had an actual job. And seriously, they're not going to come up with these policies and ideas. They're not going to decide that they need to tax bicyclists to pay off some other problem. They're not smart enough to do that kind of thing. It's not their thing. That's not what they know how to do.
They've got no life experience of any kind.
And Whitehall are professional policymakers. That's what they do for a living. And they, unlike the governments, stay in power all the time.
But I think a lot of people wouldn't know the difference with Whitehall. They don't really know what you mean by that.
It's the civil service, basically.
Is it a building where they all sit and...
There is a building called Whitehall in England,
policy?
Yeah, yes. You think, oh, well, I'm not having a great experience under Party A, I'll vote for Party B.
Yeah.
And then you go, I'm not having a great experience under Party B, I'll vote for Party A. And it just goes on. People never learn from their own mistakes.
And something I've kind of noticed, say, who's in there? The Tories.
Yes.
And Labour are the opposition.
They are. They oppose.
So they're sort of in as well. So they're all getting paid.
They're all getting paid, and there's probably not much in it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
It doesn't matter if you're in power.
Oh, it gets worse than that. It gets much worse than that. The government put forward, this is in England, I assume other countries are run the same way, the government put forward legislation which is drawn up, thought up and written by Whitehall, the civil service. And it's the government's job to represent that legislation in Parliament or whatever. And that will be based on realities such as we haven't got any money, so we need to tax somebody. So they say, right, okay, well, we haven't taxed the bicyclists as much, so we'll tax them this time. Then the government say, we've had this fantastic idea, we're going to tax people on bicycles. And it's the government's job, doesn't matter who they are, to represent the Whitehall's policy in Parliament. And it's the opposition's job to oppose it. Doesn't matter what there is, yes, curse, clearly a curse, yes.
What's the first topic on your block? Surprise me.
Well, my first topic is a carryover from the last 3 sessions that I keep forgetting to talk about, so I've added it right to the top of the list. It's not particularly funny. It's the reality that most countries' political systems are actually 2 cheeks of the same ass. All the parties are exactly the same. They're all aristocracy.
That's just brilliant. Actually, yeah, we were having a discussion about that. It was kind of interesting. We were talking about Labour and the Conservatives in the United Kingdom.
And it's the same in America with the Republicans and the Democrats, and in Ireland with the Fiannas and Fails and whatever they're called.
Fianna Fails and the Fianna Failures.
Fine Gaelias, yeah.
Fine Gaelias.
Sounds like a flower. Yeah, basically they're exactly the same group of people. They all went to the same schools, sat next to each other at class, shared the same ideals, and there's not really any difference whatsoever.
It's what Alex Jones calls the left-right paradigm.
The left-right paradigm.
And unfortunately, he's right.
He is, unfortunately for me, because I hate being, I hate him being right.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Labour for a few years, then you vote in Conservatives, then you vote in Labour again, then you vote in the Conservatives again.